Hello, StreamYard. Hello, Instagram. You know the drill. The records are now open. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Akashic Answers with Emily. I hope you know the drill. Let me know who you are once you come on in and where you're tuning in from. Whether you are watching live or on the replay, I want to invite you to participate in this first opportunity to connect, to share wisdom, to amplify the energy frequency that will be flowing through here today by sharing where you're tuning in from. And okay, so I said you know the drill, meaning we were going to do it the usual way. Now the guides are shifting it. I saw this one a couple days ago. The guides told me they were going to shift this. Okay, so normally when you come in, I say, let me know where you're tuning in from. Envision these pinpoints of light. I want to bring this home even more. We are these pinpoints of light. And rather than seeing yourself as a pinpoint of light, I want you to imagine yourself as a pillar, conducting the energy frequency there in your home turf. I see India in the house. I'm coming to you from the high Sierras. Yes, imagining ourselves as pillars of light, positive influence. Because as the more and more of us that collectively rise up and step into self-leadership, we look at our own lives and make our own lives better. We take responsibility for what it is that we're creating. The less power and influence any dark, negative, and controlling forces have on us. You guys feeling the uprising? You feeling ready? So many people that I work with feel that draw for more. If you're feeling the draw for more, let me know. Send some love like hearts across the screen, and let me officially welcome you to Akashic Answers with Emily and introduce myself. I'm Emily Harrison, founder director here inside the Akashic Academy, where I get the privilege of working with visionaries and thought leaders, training them how to get the answers to any question, life-changing questions, by learning how to tap into their Akashic Records. Why do they do this? Well, when they get the answers, then they can step into a higher level of personal mastery. If you're a first timer here and you're learning about the Akashic Records, let me bring you up to speed so you can play full out with us today. The Akashic Records are the realm of consciousness that hold all intelligence, past, present, all possible futures about your soul. Why do we want to learn how to use the Akashic Records? Hang on, let me just let you take that one in for a second. It's cool enough to think, what? Whoa, wow. This realm of consciousness is known in a lot of different contexts. If you grew up religious like I did, Southern Baptist, and you are familiar with the Bible, it's known as the Book of Life. It's often referred to in the metaphysical quantum woo land, as I call it, or the field of human potential. Sometimes just the field or the ether. Ether is a Sanskrit word that means primordial energy. I'm sorry, Akash is a Sanskrit word. I'm sorry, no, ether is the Sanskrit word. No. Freaking take 5 million. Akash and ether are the same word. Akash is the Sanskrit word. It means ether. Ether is primordial energy. Woo! There we go. Somebody give me a round for that one. That, for some reason, didn't flow out. Here's what you need to know about it, is that you have the ability to tap in and ask these questions too. So what kind of questions? When we can tap into source level intelligence, which, by the way, all of this information that's recorded forward and backward through time is recorded from what's known as a neutral perspective. Neutral does not mean comme ci, comme ça. Neutral truly is unconditional love and zero judgment. So we get to tap in and get answers to questions that will make a huge difference in the progress, the journey of our lives. When we start this journey of learning how to tap in, a lot of challenges that come up are learning to trust our intuition, because we have to use a different part of ourselves to communicate in this space. We use our intuitive skills or our psychic skills. Yes, you have them. They might be turned off or atrophied or withered or shrinkage, I'll just say. We are in a time of, let me say this. We're coming out of a time of collective atrophy around our intuitive senses, and everybody is waking up. Whether you're meditating or you're seeking this work, you're waking up. Whether you're meditating or seeking this work or not, you're waking up. Because galactically, we are aligning to galactic center. This is part of the precession of equinox, part of our astrology, part of how our cosmos is working, where we are affected by the celestial influences. And right now we're being bombarded by cosmic photons of light that are waking up our DNA, bringing our skills back online. So that's the first area where there's challenge. If you have challenge trusting your intuition, let me know. I have a fun solution for you. I want to invite you into our What's Next workshop that is happening this weekend. If you're joining us on StreamYard, then you'll find that link in the comments. If you're joining us on another platform, then you'll find that link in the Linktree. The What's Next workshop is designed to help you uncover soul direction. So important that we are following our soul direction in this time. And in order to do that, we're going to be using our Akashic Records. And in order to do that, you got to learn to use your intuition and sharpen your intuition and trust your intuition. And there is a mechanical breakdown that I can walk you through, and I will be walking you through, that's going to turn on and up-level your intuition regardless of where you are right now. But it's going to give you some mechanics that are very simple and repeatable, so you can begin to have a relationship with your intuition, so you can actually trust it. You can use it. If that would be valuable to you, make sure you sign up for the What's Next workshop. Then once we are accustomed to tapping in and receiving intelligence, then we go to work asking the questions. The next phase is a healing phase, clearing our karma, understanding ourselves, understanding our patterns, understanding why we're creating the life we are. Because when we understand the patterns behind it, we can shift. And there's a lot of healing or recreating that gets to happen in this phase, because we step into a higher phase of mastery. We, in essence, are not only using the records to read about our own patterns and understand ourselves more dynamically, and others for that matter, but we also have the opportunity to rewrite our Akashic Records. It's an ongoing consciousness that is continuing to evolve. We're doing it anyway, unconsciously. What if you could do it consciously? How freaking cool would that be? Oh, you can. We'll practice some of that today. All right, so those are great places to ask questions. If you are in that phase of your life right now where there are challenges, you're waking up, you're noticing that there are things in your life that you might create differently. Relationships, health, wealth, career. Those are the things that I'll invite you to look at. Those are the things humans care about. That's how this amazing, esoteric, powerful quantum information filters down into our life, and how we begin to, or what lenses we look through to make meaningful change in our life. So what areas, or what area of your life feels like it's stuck or it's not meeting your dream life expectations? And begin asking questions about why you're stuck. Okay? It's good to take personal responsibility, by the way. You're the only one that stuck yourself there, which is great news, because you can unstick yourself, and we'll do our best to get you unstuck today. Okay? So light up my comments with questions about where you're stuck. If you're not stuck and you are tapping into extraordinary levels of genius, which is what we do next in the Akashic Records, is we use the records to tap into creative genius, like Nikola Tesla, Steve Jobs, Albert Einstein. We all have our own unique legacy and genius and contribution to create. It's part of the human design is to show up as a creator. You are creating your own life. And so when you can tap into your highest levels of genius to create that life, it get really fun. And you stop saying things like how bad this life is, and we start shifting our awareness and playing in this amazing infrastructure for creation that we were designed to. All right, who wants to play with me? Oh, I don't have my glasses. Okay. I'm looking here on Instagram. Why am I stuck with my health? And then I see a dot, dot, dot. My phone's not letting me scroll. So I'm just going to tap in here to the pink feather life. Why am I stuck in my health? Okay. The guides are inviting you to locate the root cause. So anytime whole body's buzzing, third eye buzzing like crazy, let me just conduct this energy through. I feel like this is, thank you for this question, pink feather life. I feel like this will be helpful for a lot of people who are experiencing health challenges. Okay, the guides are inviting us in to see the root cause. That third eye activation was to illuminate your awareness so you can begin to see patterns. Okay, so first of all, wherever the stuck health or the dis-ease is presenting in your physical body, go there with your consciousness and just place your hands there. For those of you who might not yet be feeling or the energy of dis-ease is expressing in the physical body, perhaps it's still in the emotional body. Got my hands on my heart right here. I'm going to be working on the emotional body. You can work on the emotional body. Does this make sense? Because as dis-ease manifests into our physical health, it didn't start there. It starts in the thought field, in the emotional, and then it gets strengthened in the emotional field, and then gets consecrated so that it moves into physical manifestation or physical form. So just locate in your body wherever you want to work with dis-ease energy, and it can be just where you're feeling a little bit off. Some of you might feel it in your belly, your solar plexus. I'm feeling it there now as I'm tapping into the collective energy. Okay, and what we need to do is we need to locate the root cause. So we want to get in touch with this consciousness. Just feel into it. What's it want to tell you, first of all? What emotion does it want to communicate to you? And feel what's coming up. And then ask, how far back does this go? For me, sadness is coming up. And so I just want to trace back the consciousness of this particular emotion and just see where it takes me. So track backwards, see where it takes you. Good, and wherever you're landing, hold light on that now, or call light into your awareness. Light is intelligence. This will begin to heal and neutralize the emotional charge of any kind of pain or victimhood or learned helplessness that we've taken on. So if you want to release the charge that you have taken on from this traumatic pattern, forward and backward through time, and you want to feel the freedom to experience joy, even when painful memories come up, you can say yes now. Good, and that restructuring, that rewiring is happening now. Okay. So if you're doing this by yourself or you find that there are other areas that you want to do this on, after we find the root cause and we call in light, we do a little rewriting of the records like we just did there. It's also important to recognize how this pattern served you. In some way, it serves as a protection field, right? And if we can notice where this pattern is serving us, then we understand more about what our wounding is, where we can be gentle and sensitive with ourselves. And then we have other options of how we can work with our energies in that moment. We don't have to go into that a reactionary mode of feeling those old energies, the echoes of old emotion, the guides are saying, or the fear that we will experience that situation again and not have the skills to walk ourselves through it. Okay, let me know if that's making sense for you. That's a good one. Thank you, Pink Feather Life, for that. Renee Crenshaw, M. Expound on after being shown guidance in the Akash, then told to wait. How is waiting an action step? Oh man, I'm not following your stream of consciousness. So give me a little bit more to go on. And yes, I will. So I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to look for that, Renee, and come back. All right, George Morris. I have a lung problem. Can I find out if this is a result of a negative influence? Okay, so in terms of a negative influence, I'm not saying that there aren't some contexts where, okay, thank you, George, by the way. Okay, so when we have a physical ailment and we are tracing it back to the source, George's question was, could it possibly come from a negative influence? In the context of my sacred classroom, I want you to be as empowered as possible. So even when there are negative influences, which I just will acknowledge that there are dark energies, dark entities. We can get involved in parasitic relationships. Sometimes they're called energy vampires. All the way to, I mean, it was just Halloween. We could talk about possessions, exorcisms. Okay. I want you to think more in terms of energy and where negative influence comes from and what it does to us. Okay. Negative influence or distortion in the field can also come from distractions, like my cat meowing outside the door right now, or EMF. It can come from what we're watching and what we're taking in. I don't personally watch the news because of that. And because it is my intention for you to experience the most empowerment possible, I want you to recognize that even in the darkest situations, the dark is serving the light. There is a greater purpose to bring awareness to where we can call forward more light. The lungs. Thank you, George. The lungs store specifically the sadness. Okay, remember how I talked about there's consciousness in your body that is speaking to you. Your organs, your soft tissue holds somatic memory or emotional memory within its cellular structure, and it reproduces. It also becomes part of your DNA, part of what gets passed along. And the lungs store sadness. Heart stores unforgiveness. Generally, you guys just experienced with me earlier when my hands went to my heart and there was sadness in my heart. Okay. Oh, crappy darn. Peter loves when I say crazy things like that. I just realized my Mac is low. Give me 1 second. Oh, dear God, please, and angels and all of the powerful galactic beings, do not let me knock over this setup here. It is Ginger. Please set up. Yay, I'm doing it. Rock and roll. Okay, so back to this ancient wisdom. In general, lung store sadness, heart stores unforgiveness, belly stores the worry, kidneys store the fear, liver stores the anger. Or your body's going to tell you something different. If your body tells you something different, go with your own intuition and continue to unravel it, and then marry it with what the traditional wisdom is. That's how you'll get the most out of an exploration like this and like what we're doing. Okay? Marry whatever's coming in the moment with ancient archives of records that have been left behind for us. Right? Another example of that would be crystals. I talk about ancient archives of records. It's an example of that is what we know about selenite. Selenite connects us to the Akashic Records. It holds light. It helps clear our energy field. It helps charge our other crystals. It helps amplify our psychic gifts. Great crystal to meditate with on the third eye or the crown. Unless your body says, hey, put the selenite down here in the sacral chakra. Got it? Make sense? Cool. Okay. If you are working on healing health things on your own, it's also important to understand the gift within the wound. How did this help me? Even if it helped you in a dysfunctional way, it's important that you notice that. That will help bring you into completion around the pattern. And then Renee mentioned action steps as well. I also like to ingrain the pattern by taking an action step because it begins to train the body and the cellular structure of my body to hold the frequency of the new timeline. A wizard trick. I see my friend Matthew Ward here. Hello, wizard. Wizard trick to help you stay in the new timeline, because how many of you experience timeline jumping where you feel like you're stepping into a new version of yourself, a new identity, and you start taking action in that new timeline, but then you find gravity takes over and within a week or a couple weeks, you fall back into your old ways. That happens. We'll get there. We'll learn to sustain the timeline, but taking those actions is what's going to help. Okay, let's get one more question in here. Wizard, we do carry memories in our body. It's in the mitochondria DNA. Oh, thank you for helping that. Yeah, or for helping us understand exactly where that is located. Cool. Hello, Peter. How can one sustain a feeling of centeredness and positivity when the world seems to be working against it? Great question. How can we sustain positivity when it seems that the world is working against it? The key here is when it seems the world is working against it. There is where our free will to choose perspective exists. And what we have to do is we got to flip the story. Apollo, please, dude. Do you guys hear him? Put a cat emoji in the comments if you hear my cat. Oh, he listened. He got quiet. Thank you. Thank you all. Okay. So the point of power comes in our perspective, in what we're perceiving. Thank you, James. And that is fully within our choice. For me personally, that's why I don't watch the news. I take nature. Oh, shoot. Paulo, shush. I take nature walks every day and consciously tune in to taking in the vibrational frequency, the nourishment around me, the sun, the ground. I observe the clouds, the leaves. So I'm making very conscious choices as to what stimulus or what intake I'm taking in. Food is also really important. High vibe food is really important. These are all things that we can do to support working in mastery. Because if you want to work at a level of mastery and you want to be able to create and manifest quickly and powerfully in your life, we've got to keep a very high vibrational frequency. And how many of you have noticed it helps when you keep a high vibrational frequency consistently, not just when you're trying to manifest a big old goal? Plus, we just feel better. And life is joyful and fun. Every single moment is filled with so much gratitude. Apollo, shut the F up. Apollo. Okay, I'm just going to let him in because I want to keep hanging out with you, but he's making me crazy. All right, come in. Welcome to the show. Everybody say welcome, Apollo. He's probably going to jump up here on the desk here in a second. Woo, what a crazy show today. Yep, here he comes. Dude, what's with you today? Sure. Have my water. Dude. It's your show, dude. All right. I was on something good that I wanted to share there, and I got to tap back in. Hang on. Hold space for me, y'all. If anybody, tell me the last thing you remember me talking about, please. I'm just going to scroll back through and see if it'll jog my memory. Oh, yeah. Perception. Tapping back into that point of power. And I was sharing with you all, for me, things that I do that help sustain my vibrational frequency. And the more you do that, the more you're going to notice when you're off. And the more you're going to be able to course correct in the moment. Perhaps my course correction was letting Apollo in so I could concentrate. Attempt number 1, anyway. All right. Oh, we were also talking about food. Thank you, guys. That food matters, and what you're taking into your body. Your body is alchemizing that, and it's becoming a part of you within 20 to 30 minutes. I find if I eat beef, I hold some anger the next day. I'm much more irritable. I'm much more angry. Is this even going to work to put you down, or should I just give you what you want? Can I get down? All right. Let me know how this is landing for you. I want to grab one more question. I love playing with you guys here on Wednesdays. Hey, Renee, tell me more about what you were asking before about the non-action. Ask me again in a different way. I'll say that. Ask me this again in a different way, please. Any other questions in here? Carrie, stuck on what my mission and purpose is. Carrie, please come to the What's Next workshop this weekend. Sign up for it. There will be replays as well. It's all about using the Akashic Records to discover soul direction, aka mission and purpose. That's huge in my field. At the top of the show, I shared with you all powerful uses of the Akashic Records, including understanding why we're creating what we're creating in our life, specifically around areas that are stuck or areas we'd like to see improvement in, areas where we'd like to experience something different, where we feel frustrated and depressed and like there was more meant for us in life. Those are fantastic places to use the Akashic Records and to up-level. And then I also shared with you that it's really powerful to use the Akashic Records to tap into higher levels of creative genius, whether you are creating your life differently or whether you're working on specialized projects. That's mission and purpose in life, right? That's stuff that I really get excited about because that's where our potential begins to take off. Truly, healing is groundwork, preparation work, foundational work that we need to do, clearing our karma, understanding ourselves, loving ourselves, having grace and compassion for ourselves. And then we move into extraordinary levels of genius. So please join the What's Next workshop. Also, Laura, blocks in manifesting your goals. Actually, the block is around the allowance and you being able to receive. That is, it's coming back into your field. And that's located specifically in your chakras. The guides are bringing me to sacral chakra. So anybody who is having a challenge receiving their manifestations and allowing them, look in the sacral chakra, work in this area. Sacral chakra is our womb chakra, our creative center. It is also where we store unprocessed emotion. So perhaps it's the unprocessed emotion that if you can say, hey, what is in there that's unprocessed, that's blocking me from receiving X, Y, Z? And then listen for the answers. And if you don't hear anything right away, listen or be present to the energy. That's actually even better than listen for the answers. You might get great answers and you might channel right them through right away. I found that I was very connected into the field when I started doing this work, and that worked for me. If those clairsenses aren't necessarily turned on in you, but your clairsentience is more on, that's clear inner feeling, you might just feel sensation in your body, but there's energy being exchanged, intelligence, consciousness being released. Trust that it will unpack itself and you will be able to make sense of it and know what those answers are if you just pay attention to the energy. All right, does that make sense? Also, Laura, come to what's next. We're going to work on all of that stuff. Self-love is a big one. So again, self-love is what's going to raise our vibrational frequency and keep us in the realm of miracle consciousness, which, by the way, we are stepping into the golden age of miracles here on this planet. All right, so I'll give some more thought. It's still filtering in. Okay, awesome. Great. All right, everybody. I am going to wrap up for today. Although this is animal sacrificing to feed the greater good. It's not called animal suicide or animal murder. Oh, thank you for sharing. Are you mad at me for eating beef? I hear you. Or maybe you're not mad. You're just putting it into my awareness. Yeah, I feel you. I was wondering the other day because I started, here's another one y'all can light me up for. And just please remember, I'm human walking through this experience as well and noticing and like reporting back and making shifts and changes. And, I'm just here in it with y'all, like I said, and reporting back. And want to light me up for some more stuff? I'll give you just a little bit more you can light me up on before we leave today. Because there's no such thing as the 75 hard-ish. I hate challenges. I've been watching one of my dear friends, Ashley Dyer, do the 75 hard challenge. I love this woman. It's captivating to watch, and she looks so damn good. And I'm like, that's one area of my life where, like I shared with you, I go out and I walk every day and I commune with nature like Cinderella. Oh, I really could benefit from 75 hard. And so I've done the 2-day workout so far. This is why I say 75 hard-ish. I haven't done the whole thing. And the whole thing is about non-deviation. And so I was trying to think, is there a way? This is me loopholing, because you also have to follow a diet. And I've done all of the things except the diet when I'm thinking, oh man, what could I give up that I haven't eaten over the course of the past 2 days? And the only thing I could come up with was a Twix bar, because we're out of them, because I already ate all of them for the Halloween candy. I need to detox from some sugar as well as some beef and some anger. Scarlett, thank you for your compassion for me. Okay. And everybody. And thank you for just being present to the whole discussion. 75 hard-ish, right? The whole thing is about mental toughness and non-deviation. Anyway, so I'm thinking, I haven't had beef in a couple days. I could give up beef. And that's what triggered my remembrance of an awareness around, oh yeah, I do notice that there's more of a rage within me. There's more of an irritability when I consume that particular energy, right? And I believe we've talked about food a few times now on this episode. So I will encourage everybody to take a look at what you are consuming and what you are eating, because that is definitely a way that we can support our energy. All right. If this broadcast has served you, please share it out. I had a lot of fun here with you all today. I want to invite you into the What's Next workshop. It's happening this weekend. We are going to work on up-leveling intuition, which is the language that we use as we're communicating with our Akashic Records source, higher self. We are going to increase the amount of self-love. I love, because I've worked a lot on self-love. It's something we need to continually work on. And so I asked the guys for something innovative and new, a new way to look at and work with self-love. And I really enjoy and get a lot out of what they dropped in. So I always get excited about sharing that. Radical self-trust is another one that's super important. And of course, correction. Of course, course correction. Anytime that we are going to make shifts and changes in our life, we need to have mastery over the art of course correction. And honestly, it's not just when we're making shifts and changes in our life, it's to stay on point. Like Peter said, thank you as always. I love you, Peter. You are a wise, powerful human. Yes. But it's not just course correction when we're making changes. Back to Peter's question, how do we stay on track? How do I stay in a positive, grounded space when the world around me seems contradictory to that? We've got to constantly make course corrections with our own energy vibration and take full responsibility for our experience. Hopefully, what dropped in today for you will help you do that. I love you. I enjoy the time that we get to spend together. Come spend more with me on this weekend at What's Next. And if this has served you, please take a few moments and share this out with your audiences or somebody who you know could specifically benefit from what dropped in today. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you next week.